Okay, if you're trying to build anything right now, maybe a startup, a brand, or just, trying to get your name out there as an expert, you feel that pressure.
Oh, definitely.
That pressure to look perfect, like instantly, to have the polished thing ready on day one.
And we spend so much time hiding all the messy bits in the middle.
Exactly. Trying to fight that information overload by just pretending we, arrived fully formed.
Yeah, and that perfect image, that facade, that's ironically the thing that makes people just tune out today. Which is why we're doing this deep dive. We're looking at a kind of shortcut, really, for building credibility and momentum at the same time.
Based on the idea of building in public.
Right. And the mission here, for you listening, is to really get why opening up your whole journey, the good, the bad, the ugly, the lessons, why that's become this powerful new way to build authority in business.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Building in public. It's a huge shift from the old way, the sort of corporate secrecy model.
Totally.
It basically means sharing your process, your progress, even your failures and your breakthroughs, like in real time.
Yes, exactly. It's about ditching that whole act of trying to look like the finished expert from the get-go.
And instead just embracing the messy reality of creating something.
The core idea isn't really marketing in the traditional sense. It's more about authenticity. That seems to be the key currency now.
But why now? That's the big question, isn't it? Why does this work today when, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, showing your failures would just killed your business?
Yeah, that really is the central question. Why did perfection suddenly stop being the goal?
And the insight seems, almost simple when you put it like that. Audiences are just tired of perfection.
Exhausted by it.
They connect way more deeply with seeing someone's actual documented progress. More than some perfect result that just appears out of nowhere.
We trust the struggle if we can see it happen. It makes sense. So when you start sharing the challenges, the pivots you had to make, the tough calls you're grappling with behind the scenes, the immediate effect is this huge boost in trust. It makes you relatable because people see their own struggles reflected, and it builds serious credibility because you're visibly living the process, learning in public, not just talking about it later.
Okay, I can see that for a solo creator, but doesn't that feel incredibly risky? If you're, say, a founder looking for investment or a freelancer trying to land a big client.
Yeah, won't it scare them off?
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't sharing all your failures just asking for criticism or making people think you're unstable? How do you balance being transparent with needing to project confidence?
That's a really important point, and the strategy actually addresses it head on. It's not about just listing your mistakes.
Okay.
It's about sharing the lessons from those mistakes. See, when your competitor fails privately, they just lose steam, maybe learn something quietly. But when you fail or stumble publicly and then show how you're adapting, you actually gain credibility. You demonstrate resilience. You show you can learn.
So the focus shifts to the learning part.
Precisely. The mindset change you need is huge. You have to stop trying to prove you're good enough.
Yeah. Trying to convince everyone.
And just start showing the journey. The act of documenting your learning process becomes the proof of your expertise. It flips the script.
So you're kind of implying future success by showing you can handle the bumps along the way. I like that.
And it's not just for giant companies. This is really designed for founders, creators, freelancers.
People building startups in crowded spaces.
Exactly. Anyone trying to carve out their niche.
But you can't just, shout this into the void of it. Where does this building actually happen effectively?
Good point. You need the right platforms. Places where transparency is, almost expected, or at least rewarded. We're talking platforms like X, maybe LinkedIn for certain fields, YouTube for visual journeys, dedicated blogs.
Places where you can build up that story over time.
Yeah, places where that documentation and the conversation around it can grow and be easily seen.
Makes sense. And when you use those places consistently, you're not just, making content.
Yeah.
You're setting off a kind of growth chain reaction.
That's a good way to put it.
So what are the actual results? Yeah. The tangible business outcomes.
Okay, if we break it down, there are probably 4 main goals that building in public really helps you nail.
All right.
First, you get to tell your real story. The full creation story, which is always going to be more engaging than some sterile press release.
True. People connect with stories.
Second, you visibly demonstrate how your product or your brand is evolving, like month by month, sometimes week by week. That's incredibly powerful marketing right there.
Showing the evolution.
Yeah.
That creates interest. People like seeing things grow, being part of it.
Exactly. Which ties into the third goal. You build genuinely loyal followers.
Not just customers, but
people who feel invested, like cheerleaders. They've watched you build this thing, maybe even help along the way. And finally, all that authority you're building just by showing up and doing the work. It naturally starts attracting opportunities.
Like what kind of opportunities?
Oh, not just customers. We're talking investors who like your transparency, potential partners, even really good talent who want to join a mission they've seen unfold.
So that's the shortcut aspect you mentioned earlier.
Kind of, yeah.
You don't need years crafting this perfect, untouchable expert image.
No. You demonstrate your expertise every day or every week through what you share, your actions, your lessons learned.
It's the difference between saying, I'm a great problem solver, and actually showing, 100 days of documented problem solving in public.
Exactly. The credibility is just there. It's baked into the public record you're creating. Proof by publication, you could say.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. But for listeners thinking, right, I get the mindset shift, but how do I actually do this starting tomorrow? We need the how.
Right, the practical framework. And it boils down to 5 key themes or pillars that really shape how you structure this transparent content so it actually works.
Okay, let's get into those pillars. This is where it becomes actionable. Pillar 1 is the foundation, transparency. What does that actually mean day to day?
It means being vulnerable, but also clear. The core idea is simple. People trust what they can see, what they can verify.
Makes sense.
So if you want that authenticity, you have to share the full process, or at least more than you're comfortable with initially. Maybe internal debates, maybe confusing metrics, maybe things that went wrong. It shows you've got nothing to hide.
So it's less like PR.
And more like open source development, but for your whole business or project.
Okay, open source business. I like that. But that transparency needs to be ongoing, which I guess brings us to pillar number 2, consistency.
Yes. This is all about the power of compounding.
Right. But consistency, does that mean posting every single day? Or just hitting the big milestones? That sounds exhausting.
It's more about the compound effect of small, regular updates. You can't just dip in and out when you feel like it. The source material really emphasizes that these small, maybe even daily or near daily updates are crucial because they add up. They compound into significant credibility over time.
Like investing small amounts regularly.
Exactly. It's that constant drip of information that signals you're serious, you're reliable, you're actually doing the work. If you only pop up to share big wins.
It looks like bragging.
Right. But if you share the daily grind, the small steps, the process, that looks like work. And people trust work they can see.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Show the effort, not just the trophy. Now, pillar 3 is about how you package all this stuff. Storytelling, we know stories work, but how do you turn like a software update or a budget problem into a story?
You have to frame your whole journey as a narrative. If it's just data points or featureless, it's flat, boring.
Need some drama.
Exactly. A story needs tension. It needs milestones, yes, but also breakthroughs and, crucially, those fails we talked about, the setbacks, the moments of doubt. That's what keeps people engaged.
A narrative arc.
Yeah. People invest emotionally when there's a beginning, a messy middle full of challenges, and the hope of some kind of resolution or learning.
Okay, so you build this ongoing story, but you can't just lecture, right? That leads to the 4th theme. Audience participation. What's the dynamic there?
It's symbiotic. The audience isn't just watching passively from the sidelines.
They get involved.
Ideally, yes. When you build in public effectively, you're inviting them into the process. Ask for feedback, share dilemmas, maybe run polls on decisions.
So they feel like part of the team.
Exactly. They become invested because they're contributing. They help you spot flaws. They offer solutions. They give support. It deepens their sense of ownership in what you're building.
And turns viewers into advocates, maybe even future customers.
Very often, yes. And you get amazing insights along the way. Free market research, essentially.
Nice bonus. Okay, finally, pillar 5 loops. Back to the main goal. Authority through action. What's the summary here?
This just ties it all together, bringing us back to that core mindset shift. You gain authority, not because you claim it, not because you have a fancy title.
Not because you hired a great PR firm.
But because you demonstrate it. Day in, day out. Your expertise is earned in the open.
Through the work itself.
Yes, it's the documented proof, all those consistent updates, those stories of overcoming challenges that solidifies your position. It shifts the burden of proof from you convincing people to the public record you've already built.
Okay, so if we boil this all down for everyone listening, the main takeaway really is the incredible power of this transparent momentum in today's world.
Right. It's kind of replacing that old, frankly exhausting need for polished perfection right out of the gate.
Forget the perfect launch, just start building.
And remember, knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when you actually understand it and then, apply it. Building in public is basically applying vulnerability as your main growth tool.
Letting the work advertise itself.
Constantly.
And it demands action, right?
Yeah.
Not waiting for the perfect moment. So if we take that idea consistency really seriously, that small daily updates compound into big credibility, we can use that immediately. So here's something maybe for you to think about, to explore on your own, maybe starting right now or tomorrow. Think about your own work process. Something internal.
Could be anything.
Yeah, like a specific design choice you're wrestling with, or a tough client conversation, or a budget snag. What's just one small, normally hidden piece of that process
Just one thing.
that you could decide to start sharing consistently, maybe starting tomorrow, just to begin building that transparent momentum? Start showing, not just telling. Start demonstrating that expertise.